Good morning to one and all. Our Professor Gurbir Singh, beloved Vice Chancellor, has been a guiding light in the past 6 months or so in our university, and under his leadership, many programs were held to enrich the academic activities. Our department also, Department of Earth Sciences in Pondicherry University, as told by our head of the department, Professor Sendilnathan, is one of the leading departments in the country. Within a short span of 2 decades, it has become one like that. And it's very heartening to have in this gathering Sri Anbarasu IAS, who is taking care of the groundwater and other aspects of our union territory, and Professor Saugat Datta from Kansas State University, who has taken trouble to come all the way. Maybe this is his first visit to India and maybe first visit to Pondicherry. I also welcome and we are very pleased to have him here. And I also see delegates from USA and also from various other places in the country, and participants also from throughout the country who are here. So I hope you will all have a very wonderful time and also useful time here at Pondicherry University. Besides attending this workshop, Pondicherry is a very small and nice town, and unlike the metropolis like Delhi or Chennai, it is more compact and probably less polluted, so you can make use of your stay and visit some places around. I hope you would carry good memories back home. So, coming to this topic of groundwater, as such, water is a very important part of the thing, which was realized by ancient sages and others. One of the sages from Tamil Nadu, Thiruvalluvar, has already stated that without water the world cannot be formed. I mean, indeed, as a geochemist and mostly I work on early earth systems like Archean and Precambrian, but when we also realize that among the various planets which is known to us, Earth is the only planet that has water in all the forms. Namely, you can have the volatile, that is gaseous form, liquid form, solid form, as well as in the mineral form. Now we all of us talk only about 3 forms of water, but there is a 4th form, that is a form of water held in the minerals as a composition. So like recently in the moon, they found water. It is not that water was flowing in the moon, it was present in the amphibole, in the mineral, as a part of the chemical structure. So, but in other planets, you may find water. For example, Mars, they find water, but water is not there that presently can support the life, So, whereas Earth is the only place where the water is present in all forms, which help to support the life and also mediate the climate. So, another important role, it is not only a life supporting thing, it plays a very important role in mediating the climate because of the difference in the heat capacities of water and the solid rocks. So, which plays a major role in driving the monsoons, winds, everything. So, this is another important fact. So, water plays a role in sustaining the earth. Besides, also the formation of continents and so on, I can go on. Everything is linked to water. Without water, we may not be even having a plate tectonics, and mountain building. Many of such things happened in the earth, are happening in the earth because of the presence of the water and oceans. So, but the important thing about this seminar is, here we are going to concentrate on the most useful form of water, which is present as the groundwater. So, seawater forms a large part, but seawater is basically not very useful for human being for consumption purpose. I mean, it has its own uses, but not for consumption purpose. Similarly, river water, rainwater, they run off very quickly. You cannot retain them for long. But groundwater is the one where the water can be stored, and probably in a more very unpolluted, pristine form, unless we pollute it. So that way the groundwater has a very important role in sustaining our life and also human civilization. And I hope, I am not expert in this field, so in the outset, so I hope you will have a very wonderful time here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, and really good morning over here. I should say that this was initially a little bit overwhelming for me and for a lot of my friends out here, but we had a very good start, and so we are really onto the track of listening and participating in the next 3 days of this workshop. So before I just give my real couple of points out here, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Sir Gurmeet Singh, Honorable Dean, Professor Balakrishnan, Mr. Anabarasu, Honorable Head, Professor Senthil Nathan, dignitaries, participants, friends, scientists, colleagues from India and US, and dear students. I have to mention that my last 2 days, my interaction with the students here and the scholars have been really fascinating. So a lot of the work that has put forward for today where we are standing is because of the students, and probably Professor Srinivasa Murthy will talk about that in a little bit time. But this particular, it gives me great pleasure to introduce the workshop. It's titled Coastal Groundwater Dynamics, Combining Future Climate Change and Human Development. In brief, I call it Coastal Hydrology. And in a minute, I will explain why this workshop and its focus is so timely, contextual, and imminent, both for US and India. But let me start by saying that the journey, it really started about almost 1.5 years back to apply for the Indo-US Science and Technology Forum to arrange and host this workshop with a friendly partnership between Pondicherry University, Sri Shakti Institute of Engineering and Technology, Coimbatore, and Kansas State University. Actually, when the green signal of the success of this proposal was looming over our head, at least I was very unclear as to what is going to happen. So really, I am absolutely have a great pleasure to say, and my heartfelt thanks goes to you folks, all the experts and invitees whom we have contacted. Neither of them has turned us down. So thank you all for making this a success. It could not have been possible without you all agreeing to come here, share your knowledge, and at the same time, give us a little bit of your time for this next 3 days. I'd like to thank the IUSSTF because for the generous grant that allowed us to bring together here at Pondicherry University. I'd like to thank the Vice Chancellor, the Dean, and Dr. Srinivasa Murthy and Dr. Karunanidhi for their amazing support. Both as a host institution and for many logistical and financial support beyond the grant that was given to us. So thank you, Pondicherry University. My Dean of Sciences at Kansas State University, Dr. Amit Chakraborty, has sent a warm greetings to everyone here and congratulated this endeavor that was exemplified by this proposal being funded and that we are executing it today. Just a brief synopsis of the topics that probably you will hear in the next couple of days. It's the coastal hydrology, but in the context of India and its east coast and coastal ecosystems. But topics will be ranging from coastal landscape, submarine groundwater discharge, using geophysical techniques and neural networking for measuring coastal inundation and assessing sustainability. This is equally important, like many contaminant migration stories that you might have heard in Southeast Asia, and a lot of US universities, faculties, non-governmental organizations. We have been working in many sectors in India and Bangladesh, but I think coastal hydrology is very unique to India, and probably it might be one of the hot topics because of the restoration of the coasts in the near future. And same that goes for US. You might be knowing that one of the major climate change effects that was hurled over in US in the southern coast, the Hurricane Harvey, which actually hit the coast of Texas. Very similar that I heard in 2004, because of a tsunami, Pondicherry was basically under floods. So these type of natural calamities and similar things might actually accentuate more of these type of discussions among us. And I hope you can get a lot out of these 3 days. Topics we will be using, they will be using in rare earth elements or isotopes or groundwater modeling, ecohydrology, saline water intrusion, reactive zone studies. We will be thrilled to hear, and I sincerely request everyone to participate, ask questions, mingle during the social hours and after the talks. Please make this workshop a success and actually make yourself use of time for this next few days. Again, thanks for this wonderful time that we will spend in the next 3 days discussing many issues, both for the coasts of India and coast for US. There are many experts here. I have my friends from US that came all the way after a long haul. Some of them had to travel like 48 hours to come here. I really have my special thanks to them and to everyone who came far and near to Pondicherry University to accept our invitation and be a part of this workshop. And I also like to really point out that please interact with the brightest students I have seen here in the last few days, and it's a real pleasure to be here, and thank you all for coming. Thanks.
Chief guest of the morning, my old good friend, Mr. Anand Barsu, IAS officer, who is serving here at the moment, and he was in Delhi for a fair length of time. Therefore, he is familiar with the kind of problems which are related with water issues, and more so about Delhi. Then Dean Professor Balakrishnan, our friend from US, Professor Datta, who has come all the way, and he's been one of the instrumental factors in organizing this particular conference. Then Professor Srinivas Murthy and head of the department, Professor D. Senthilnathan, my colleagues from other departments, and our friends who have come from US all the way. I heard after traveling 48 hours, which is not a very easy task, I can understand. And my young friends, research scholars, ladies and gentlemen, it has been a pleasure to inaugurate and attend a workshop like this. It's one of the real classic examples of a long-term association between India and US. These days, of course, saying long-term has no meaning because everything is available at the click of a button. But still, to work the modalities of a workshop of this kind is not a very easy thing. And I give my compliments to Professor Datta and the team here, led by head of the department, for organizing a very useful workshop here. When I talk about certain data and I give you some examples, you will understand the importance of this. Everybody knows about the importance of groundwater and the way and the means to regulate this and the urgency to regulate this. I remember I studied in University of Delhi, served there for a long time, and I used to stay in an area which was just adjoining to that, 5-10 minutes walk. There I remember very vividly, you start digging at about 6 feet to 8 feet, you'll start getting water. And at 10 feet, clear water. So we used to have those hand pumps, which people used to have. Municipal water was not that common during those days. So this water, people used to drink also. It was such good quality water at a depth of just 10 feet. And gradually over the years, when we grew along with time and we left that place, the water was available at 250 meters. You can understand, from 10 feet, the level had gone down so much. I was in Karaikal yesterday, where we have a campus, and we were facing some water problem, and then we took the sanction and started digging a borewell. When we were doing this, they said we will get water at about 800 meters or so, and that will solve your problems. And yesterday I learned that they have gone up to 1200 meters, and that is where they have started getting water. So the rate at which the water level is going down is very alarming, and it is alarming for all of us, because this is a major issue. And I'll say for India, 70 years into freedom, we have still not been able to manage our water very well. One of the primary reasons is that there was a lack of conferences of this kind. There was a lack of thinking. But now we are all getting aware of this, and people have started thinking about this. In one part, we don't get enough water, there's a drought, and our crops get spoiled completely. And on the other part, we have floods, terrible floods. So this is where we need to work and manage our water much better than what we are doing now. And this can be better sorted out when we have a long-term cooperation with countries like US and others who are also affected equally. We get tsunami, we get hurricanes, and the kind of disaster that one gets, it's something to be seen, to be believed. Therefore, it's a very urgent need. It is all the more urgent because the mouths to be fed are increasing. The fields are decreasing, shrinking in size, and the requirement of water is going up every day. And what people have been doing is, without any problem, they will dig a bore well. It was very rampant. Anybody who wanted would dig the bore well wherever one wanted, without any regulation. It was of late that we started thinking about that, yes, there is an urgent need to work out a strategy by which it can be regulated. And very recently, there has been bodies set up to regulate this in practically all cities, particularly in coastal areas also. So therefore, if we don't regulate, start thinking about it, start processing the ways and means by which this can be controlled, we'll be in for a big problem. And this is related to, rightly so, in this workshop we have already put it, to human development. I do not know how many of you have read about or heard about this news which has been on for the last 3 days in television about water scarcity in a place called Shimla. It's a beautiful hill station in North India, and everybody, anyone who gets a chance will rush to that place. Very beautifully designed, and there is a place called Ridge in that. It's a very broad area where they even host hockey matches and football matches. It is so broad, on a hilltop. People wonder, how is it that this, on a hilltop we have such a broad area that people are able to, and anybody who goes there will be, in the evening you will find him loitering around in that particular ridge area. It has historical background also. There is a place called Scandal Point. I will not dwell on that. But then what I am trying to tell you is, when people start asking about this, very few would know that under that there is a huge water reservoir which was created artificially way back in early 1900. It has a storage capacity of 19 million liters of water which would serve the city there. And this was made to cater to a population of 16,000 only. And right now the population there is 5.5 lakhs. So from 16,000 to 5.5 lakhs, this reservoir is still serving. And there were a few other ponds which used to be filled with water and would serve the community there. But of late, urbanization took place and those ponds got buried. And now is the result that for the last 10 days, I am telling you, there is not a drop of water in Simla. And this is the tourist season, and this bottle, which is available, 1 liter bottle, was being sold for 100 rupees in Simla. People were buying only to do their morning course. That is the importance of this entity which we are ignoring so far, we are wasting so far. Another classic example I would like to give you is of Chennai. In our country, the best drainage system and water storage system in our country was in Chennai. It had best underground drains. You will never ever get floods. You will never ever get water scarcity. It has a huge stretch of marshy land. When the rain will come, it will be like a sponge. So much of water it will absorb and ultimately it will filter down and move into those big water reservoirs which were there in and around Chennai. If you look at the old map, I'm sure the Science Department will have that. in early 30s and 40s, there'll be huge reservoirs around Chennai, which now if you look at, you will not even find one. I'm saying not even one you will find. Where are those? Where are those underground drains which we had created in Chennai? None would be existing right now. And that is the result of cross urbanization which took place in a very erratic manner. They started making group housing societies, colonies, buildings, so much so that I was very much pained to learn, and I did tell them in near IIT Chennai, if you cross that road, that was that large stretch of marshy land which was available, and on top of that there is a metro which has been now made, and that marshy land is completely vanished. Not an inch is available. I don't know so much of water which comes, where will it go, what is that part which will be absorbing, how will it go to those ponds, how will it be, the city will be catered to, and that is one of the essential reasons that Chennai is facing scarcity of water. In summer, you don't get enough water, and if there is a heavy rain for 2-3 days, Chennai gets flooded. In the last 5-6 years, the 2 floods that we have seen in Chennai is a result of this. So there is an urgent need to regulate the water management system. Obviously, along with that, you will have groundwater management, obviously, coming into that. And this is automatically linked to human development. So I'm very glad that this initiative has been taken by our Earth Science Department, of course, in collaboration with Kansas State University. I don't know whether any of my friends from USA will know. We used to have a friend by name Professor Ram P. Singhal, way back in 89 to 91. Then I was there and we used to interact. I don't know whether he's still there or not. He was a biochemist. So what I'm trying to tell you is wherever one goes, you do find associations in US. There's a strong presence of good scientists from here, and wherever you go, you do find person either from here or some other place, and the association continues, and it continues in a very good, healthy manner, and it is growing from strength to strength with every passing day. I'm very glad to know that, and I'm happy that this important workshop has been organized, where my young minds have come from all over the country. I will have only one piece of advice for the younger ones, that this is a chance where you will be able to interact with some of the best experts available in the field. So don't shy away from asking questions or interacting with them. I'll go a step further. I'll suggest that during lunches and teas that you have, don't let them have lunch properly. You interact with them, put your questions, clarify your doubts. This is one good occasion where you can get new ideas, and you can always improve in your field, you can improve in your research. So the purpose, I've already said it in your department earlier also, that if it's a bank or if it's a money collecting machine, probably I put 100, you put 100, it will become only 200 and it will remain 200, unless somebody is generous enough to give you some bit of interest on that. So 210, 220, not more than that. But in a workshop like this, if I give you one idea, you give me one idea, these 2 ideas may multiply into 200 ideas. So this is the purpose of such a workshop, on which you should encash upon. So this is a wonderful opportunity, and my compliments to everybody who has been involved in this, that you make best use of this. And a word for my friend Mr. Anabarsu, who is a seasoned man in this, that please go with an iron hand and regulate this part, at least in Pondicherry, so that it stays as green as it has been. Because when I meet everybody, I say, well, my travel from Delhi to this place is a remarkable experience, from hell to heavens, because there's no pollution, no dearth of water, everything is very well regulated. So deal with the iron hand and make sure that the city stays as good as it was and as good as any other city in the world. With these words, I wish you a very happy interaction during these 3 days, and I'm sure something very useful will emerge out of this. And in future also, our department, this is one of the best active departments of our university. It shall continue to organize such events and will continue to interact with some of the best in the area.
Good morning to all of you. I deem it a privilege to be with all of you. on the occasion of the inaugural function of the Indo-Us Bilateral Workshop organized here on coastal groundwater dynamics, combining future climate change and human development. It's good that India and US have joined together to address one of the pressing problems that the world is encountering with. When Pondicherry University looks at international cooperation, being a policymaker in Pondicherry, I thought it fit to come here to explore the possibilities of intra-national cooperation, that is cooperation between the stakeholders of the country, so that the ideas that come out in terms of water management are percolated down to the policy making level at the local governance level. Sir, you have asked me to be very firm and with iron hand. I assure you, sir, that not only we will have iron hand, we will have soft hand also, but it will have a feel of iron, and we will have steely resolve also. It is not only having a tough approach, we will have a tough approach, yes, a lot of loose ends have to be tightened up, and our resolve will be steely in such a way that whatever mistakes we have committed in the past, we will address it at the right honest. India and US, the bilateral cooperation between the countries are reaching new heights as we pass by, be it defense cooperation, be it external affairs, be it trade. I think we have been reaching newer heights. I may recall November 2017 last year, India and US jointly organized Global Entrepreneurs Summit in Hyderabad. The daughter of Honorable President of US, Ivanka Trump, was a main participant, and India and US jointly together had invited young and bright minds across the globe, and they had deliberated on how we can ignite young minds so that they become global leaders. So such is the kind of cooperation that India and US have been experiencing in the recent past, and organizing seminar like this will further strengthen the resolve of working together between the two countries. I have listened to the invocation song which was sung in Tamil. Many of you might not have understood the essence of it, but I will just translate the first two lines of the invocation song which was sung at the beginning of this conference. The English translation of the song goes like this. Yeah, Pondicherry University is a newer dimension and innovation of Pondicherry, and we wish you every success. So that is the essence of the first two lines of the invocation song which was sung here. Yes, with a sprawling campus of 800 acres, with multidisciplinary approach, and with a dynamic leadership being given by our new Vice Chancellor. In fact, I have also taken charge last year when he had taken charge as Vice Chancellor. He has infused a new thinking, and he is giving a new direction to the college, and I am optimistic that under your leadership and your dynamic leadership at the top position, I think Pondicherry University will reach newer heights, and I assure you, sir, that in the days to come we will work together, and whatever ideas that germinate and come out of these international cooperations, you take Pondicherry as a laboratory. Whatever ideas that we would like to look at in terms of groundwater conservation, groundwater management. In fact, my officers also, I brought them here. The chief CEO of the groundwater authority is here. And in the recent past, we have taken several initiatives. We talk about public-private partnership. I would give a kind of a different meaning to public-private partnership. We will have tradition and technology partnership in terms of water conservation in our country. Our Vice Chancellor had talked about the good practices that were prevailing in the earlier days in our country. We had good community-based management of water assets in this part of the country. He talked about the capital city, Chennai. Many of you might have landed at Chennai airport. The district adjacent to Chennai is called District of Lakes. There were 55,000 lakes which were in existence in a small district. and they had designed the operation and management of the tanks in such a way that if one tank fills up, it lets its water into the next tank. So the the water chain management was so good, and during those days they had good operation and management through the community participation. So what we have to focus today is that how we can leverage on the tradition of water conservation of this place. Traditionally, probably genetically also we are tuned to conserve water, but in the lust of power or in the lust of material life, probably those genes have become dormant. So it is time for us to activate those traditional wisdom which is in existence, and how we ignite the community in such a way that they regain the past glory in terms of the water asset management. So through bilateral cooperation and intra-regional cooperation, as policy makers, what I would offer from Government of Puducherry is that let us leverage technology to empower the traditional communities. So that is the very critical point that we have to face. In Pondicherry, when I took charge about 5 months back, we had a meeting of all the water stakeholders. Unfortunately, in government there are several players who intervene in water management. We called a meeting of all the stakeholders. So what we decided is that let us have a robust MIS system, be it a surface water, be it a groundwater, be it a underground water. Let us measure the consumption of water, because we don't measure the water, because Pondicherry water table is one of the best water table in this part of the country, and the legend goes that the French have chosen Pondicherry as a territory not only because of its coastal advantage, because of the groundwater advantage. As our Vice Chancellor has said that in Delhi they used to get water at 6 foot of depth. We have places in Pondicherry where water oozes on its own from the surface. We call it as artesian wells. So Pondicherry groundwater aquifer is in some parts ensures that water gushes on its own and comes from below. Such is the shallow level of water that Pondicherry experience, but over a period of time, unfortunately, over exploitation of groundwater has led to a situation that there has been seawater intrusion into the coastal areas. So we have come out with a legislation that one should not dig a borewell up to 6 kilometers from the coastal line. Of course, we have a legislation. You may ask me whether that legislation is being effectively enforced or not. We are trying to enforce it, but with technological intervention, whether we will be able to arrest it to the maximum possible extent. So in the last 5 months, what we have done is that in groundwater management department, we have decided to use the Internet of Things technology, IoT technology, in such a way that every water user at the point of extraction, be it the point of treatment and be it the point of end use, we will try to create a chain in such a way that at every level we measure the use of water, and we will come out with kind of a pricing mechanism in such a way that incentive is given to those who use less water and non-incentive measures in terms of those who use high waters. When you look at Pondicherry, it is a very, very complex environment. I will just quote some technical terms which was given by my engineers. It says that it is typified by transient water levels. I am not an expert in water science, though I am a chairman of the authority. I am a chairman by way of it is because of my ex officio position that I hold in the government. Variable salinity, water density distributions, and heterogeneous hydraulic property. There are several dynamics. They say that even if 1% of seawater intrusion into a soft water, it renders it unfit for water consumption. So that is the kind of alarming situation in which we are all put in. And Pondicherry is a coastal city. Coastal cities generally attract more people. The influx of population, migration, you promote tourism. A lot is told about Shimla because as against the demand of 44 million liters of water a day, I read a paper yesterday. They say that the current water levels which is being supplied in the city is just 18 million liters. So when you look at in terms of percentage, only about 1/3 or 40% of the water supply is being met today. And this has happened in May. When you look back in April, we have talked about Cape Town. Because Cape Town, I think the city has said that unless and until citizens cooperate, I think we have no option but to shut down the city. So much so that the Indian cricket team, which was touring Cape Town, was asked to take a shower for not more than 2 minutes. So that was the kind of situation that cities are being put to. And as rightly mentioned by our Vice Chancellor, one side you have flood, one side you have drought. Things are going rather too extreme also. A few years back, entire Europe was flooded. Countries, and even day before yesterday in Germany also, suddenly there was a cloud burst and the entire city was underwater. And the zoo, they had to kill some animals, some bear was shot dead, and the entire city was asked to stay shut until such time they traced the animals which were believed to have escaped from the zoo. So these things we never heard also. So across the globe, if you look at from north or east, west or everywhere, I think water is throwing a very, very big challenge. But in Indian context, yes, the population is increasing, migration into urban cities, extreme weather, more population means there is more money, there is more demand for water. And groundwater depletion in India is one of the most worrying factor. And 54% of the groundwater extraction locations have become very, very vulnerable. And in 20 years, they say that 60% of the wells, groundwater wells which extract water will become very, very critical, putting the future of water requirements of cities into great difficulty. And 30% of the deep aquifers in India will get into serious problems unless and until good policy measures are not put in place quickly. And also, if you look at the kind of wastage of water also is another issue. The supply chain management is so weak that in India alone people say 6 billion gallons of water, good water, is wasted from source to end supply. So every day you lose about 6 billion gallons of water. Natural ecosystem, yes, you talked about marshy lands in Chennai. Natural ecosystems are the ones which are bearing the brunt in today's onslaught of modern development. How are we going to conserve the natural environment? And the pricing also, which I have mentioned it. So these are the combination of factors that affect the water management in the most effective way. Today also I have read in paper that Government of India also is very conscious of it. Yes, we have to look at the groundwater, because what we see we value it, what we don't see we don't value it. Groundwater, 30% of the water is in the deep aquifer. In Pondicherry we have 3 aquifers. The shallow alluvial aquifer, then the sandstone aquifer and the deep aquifer. Already our shallow aquifer has been affected to a great deal. So now we are extracting water from the second and third level. So what government has said is that Government of India is going to tie with the World Bank at an estimated cost of Indian value of 6,000 crore rupees. It is called Atal Bhujal Yojana. It exactly says that there is a tremendous need to conserve groundwater through community participation. So this is what the essence of the scheme which is going to be rolled out in this year. The scheme is yet to get the approval of the Council of Ministers of Government of India. So it will be placed before them, and possibly in the next month or two we will be able to see the scheme being put into operation. And it says that the focus will be on community participation, and 71 districts of India out of 500 odd, the groundwater level has become very, very critical, and salinity in 31% of the districts, coastal districts, salinity is assuming larger proportions. So this scheme is aimed to address this, and we hope each state governments, be it Pondicherry or the neighboring states, we all will be able to make meaningful interventions. So the limited point I want to make here today is that we will have a healthy deliberations. We will come out with implementable action points, and I assure you on behalf of the Government of Puducherry to both the Vice Chancellor and our experts from Kansas University that we would like to partner with this exercise, and we would like to implement good policy measures, because Pondicherry is a very small place. Unlike other places, there are many levels of decision making, but here the decision making levels are comparatively less. And since I am at the topmost level of decision making, only the ministers and the chief minister and governors above, I assure you with whatever powers whatever, I would not say power, the positional power that I have at my disposal, that we would do all that is required to ensure that the groundwater management is put into the best possible way, and we are ready to even fund those projects also. Please tell us as to how we can take steps forward. We are fully committed. Already we have taken several measures, as I mentioned to you. We are going to strengthen our groundwater organization with a lot of manpower and technical power. We have already roped in the Pondicherry Engineering College, Civil Engineering Department and other water related departments as partners in our endeavor to conserve the groundwater exploitation of Puducherry, to conserve the water and to prevent groundwater exploitation of Puducherry. We will try to have good systems in place, be it administrative measures, legal measures, what kind of community participation we should do, what kind of technological interventions that we should do. Maybe from the experiences of US, you can tell us as to what kind of technological interventions will help us in taking things forward. Even we are ready to introduce some of the courses also in terms of water sector, water management, ecology, environment, water study. I was also telling my government that we talk more about Indian Institute of Management, Engineering, Information Technology. Why can't we have an Indian Institute of Environment and Ecology? Maybe Pondicherry University and Government of Puducherry can work together. And why can't we make a kind of an Indian Institute of Environment and Ecology in Pondicherry, which will focus more on water conservation, because this place is known for water conservation, so there cannot be a better place than this to do it. Maybe you can give us some ideas as to how we can position such an institute. Maybe we can start it on a very small scale. Pondicherry University can pump in some money, Government of Pondicherry can pump in some money. Maybe we can have a chair to begin with, which can be later converted into kind of a good working group. And Pondicherry can show the way to the rest of the country as to how there has to be water management, there has to be groundwater management, there has to be underground water management. With these few words, I thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. I also welcome all the guests who have flown from all the way from west to east, and east is known for its own Pondicherry is known for its spiritual ideology. I think this place it calms down people. That's what people say, that the rebellious freedom fighter Sri Aurobindo, after having touched the shores of Pondicherry, he has become a kind of a spiritual leader in his own sense. So Pondicherry soil has its uniqueness. Pondicherry soil has its uniqueness because there is a lot of percolation of water also, in that sense, because the red soil of Pondicherry, they say it has got 70% percolation levels, and the Kalapet water level, groundwater level was considered to be the best groundwater in Pondicherry, but unfortunately in the last 20 years due to over exploitation, I think this Kalapet area has given its position to the other area in Pondicherry. So such is the location of Pondicherry. It has got a good soil. It invigorates you spiritually. It gives you kind of an elevation, spiritual elevation. I think there cannot be a better place to discuss about ideas, cross fertilization of ideas, cross synthesis of ideas, and come out with broad working plans. And I again, on behalf of Government of Puducherry, I assure you that we want to work with you, and we will, in a lighter vein, I would say, with iron hand and steely resolve, we will make interventions that are required for Pondicherry. Thank you very much.
So I am here to give the vote of thanks with reference to the other participants, because Professor Datta has already briefed about the things that are going to happen in this 3 days workshop. So let me go for the vote of thanks. Professor Gurmeet Singh, our Honorable Vice Chancellor of this university, and he is a person who speaks less and do many wonders. So after taking the charge of administration, the campus has achieved a new vigor and vitality, sir. So your cordial presence here in this today's function is a source of great inspiration and encouragement to all of us. So thank you, sir. Thank you for being here. And the very presence of Sri A. Anbarasu, our Development Commissioner, Pondicherry Groundwater Authority, in this today's program. So whenever we approached him, and I approached sir for fixing this particular program, and he readily accepted that, and he told that he will be definitely here for this particular program. So a special mention to you, sir, for accepting our invitation also. And thanks are also to Dr. Arvind Singh, Dr. Ruholi Michael, and Alicia for taking out time from their very important schedules to contribute to this workshop by traveling from overseas. So thank you once again for your well-being here. And thanks are also due to Dr. S. Chidambaram from research scientist from Kuwait Institute of Scientific Research, and for his willing participation, and also for extending his hand for being an expert and to deliver his findings in this particular workshop. Thank you, Dr. S. Chidambaram. And I take this opportunity to thank Dr. Suresh Babu from NSS Trivandrum, Dr. Tirumalesh from BAR, then Dr. Sharma and Dr. Suri Naidu and Professor Y. Srinivas, who have been from the different destinations for their support and cooperation. And also I thank my colleagues, my friends here, Dr. Shanmuganandam, Dr. Soundra Pandian, Dr. Tirunavukarasu, so who have been here for their constant support and presence. So an event like this cannot happen overnight. So this wheel started rolling over an year ago. So it requires planning, a bird's eye view, and also many details. So we have very fortunate to have a backward team of very motivated and dedicated research scholars. So in this occasion, I like to thank my research scholars, Mr. Prakash, Mr. Vinnar C, Mr. Ponnumani, Babu, and Rajesh Khanna, Saravanan, then Arvind Sami and Anandan from SIT in Coimbatore for their willful help. So without their help, this particular seminar or this workshop won't be a great success. Then there is no way to thank and also to express my gratitude to the funding agencies, Indo-US Science and Technology Forum, IUSTF and Pondicherry University for their funds to the successful conduct of this particular workshop. We are continually inspired by the dedication and generosity of the IUSTF. So whenever we contact them, they will be there. So what sort of information we require, they immediately provided us. And thank you IUSTF for this, for playing a key role for the conduct of this particular workshop. And I also extend my sincere thanks to my colleagues. Professor Pandian is here, Professor Pramod Singh is here. I thank you one and all, research scholars and staff members from Department of Health Sciences and Pondicherry University for their support and valuable guidance. And I also thank the participants from different parts of India for showing their interest to take part in these particular deliberations. And I also express my sincere gratitude to the Department of Electronics and Media Communication, then Electronics, Media and Mass Communication, Pondicherry University for giving an excellent video coverage for this particular program. And I thank you one and all, and thank you very much for those who have assembled here. Thank you one and all. Thank you very much.